Welcome to the Zero to Pro video series. This is a whole series to get you from no experience to twisting professionally. So this is going to be the twists and techniques section of the video. You're going to use all these techniques throughout the entire video. So pay close attention to not only what you're twisting, but the way that I'm twisting it and hand positioning, because your hand positioning is extremely important for efficiency and to not tire out your hands or hurt yourself later on. So we're going to start with inflating. I'm going to use a traditional hand pump and show you how to do it with this. So what you're going to do is take your 260 first, uninflated naturally, and stretch it a little bit, makes it easier to blow up, and the air goes more evenly throughout the balloon. I hold this hand in kind of a tripod, and I have pointer, middle finger, and thumb holding this one together, like so. Now I'm going to use my ring finger and pinky to kind of hold it taut a little bit, so I can pull it in the right position, like so. From here, I'm going to take the pump, I'm going to put it onto this tripod and kind of twist a little as I do it. You don't want that nozzle to roll. You want it to just slide down. I'm not going to remove my thumb, leaving that there. While I grab over, hold this way. That way it holds nice and taut, it doesn't come undone. Now do not let go and do not pause inflating until you're done. So say you want to make an animal with a 5-finger tail, you would inflate it so you see it has about 4 to 5 fingers. Now you're going to burp it, a little bit of air, just a tiny bit. So it's a little softer, but you don't want it soft. And this way it doesn't pop as easily and takes some tension out of the balloon. So again, it's a tiny bit just to relieve some tension, but not actually deflate the balloon. The tail shouldn't move at all. Just stay in the exact same spot. Now you're gonna come in about 3 fingers or so. You're gonna come down and you're gonna grab the balloon. You don't need to twist it, but you do need to have a full grip. And that way you can let go of this hand and the air will leave here, but you don't lose any air out of the core of your balloon. Now the reason we did this is now you have a nice long nozzle to tie with, so you don't hurt yourself trying to tie this small section. Because when you're twisting balloons, you'll be tying hundreds, maybe even 1,000 in a single day. So make sure you're very efficient at your knot tying. Now to tie a knot, you can do it with 1 finger or you can do it with 2 fingers. The 2-finger way, I use my pointer and thumb to grab the balloon. I wrap it around both my fingers. I then rest the balloon down. So my thumb's holding on the nozzle. I just did a loop, like so. Now I'm going to grab with this hand the nozzle itself. I want to push it into that pocket, and then I'm going to pull the nozzle out. And before I pull it taut, I'm going to pull these fingers out and give it a small tug. Now make sure when you tie the balloon, you don't pull it too tight. This is called a soft knot. There are hard knots and soft knots. 90% of the time, you want a soft knot. It's where it's tied, but it's still kind of juicy right here, kind of fat. That way you can slide the knot later if you need to, and it doesn't pop the balloon as often. If you tie it really tight, it could put a tear in the balloon and deflate. So this is a soft knot. Now, if you wanted to do a 1-finger knot, so again, you put it on the pump. Less air this time. Grab about 3 fingers in. My middle finger and thumb are gonna grab the balloon. Wrap it around my pointer. Same exact thing, except it's over here now. So again, here, I'm going to then let go of the nozzle while I put my finger down so it can't go anywhere. I grab the nozzle, I pull my pointer down, and instead of just pushing the nozzle in, I'm actually going to use the knuckle to hook it and pull it in. And that's kind of like a tailor's knot, but done with balloons instead. Pull it up. Now if you want to do a hard knot for some techniques, you would hold it by the top of the knot and slide down this way. Never hold it below the knot. Now it shouldn't tear the balloon, and this way you cannot push any air back in and it keeps that round shape. It's not often you do that, but that is how you need to do a hard knot. But remember, when in doubt, do a soft knot. You can always tighten it more later. Now if you want to tie a balloon end to end together, you don't need to tie it twice. Because you're going to be tying it tail to nozzle, you can just tie nozzle tail without that first knot. So what I mean by that is you inflate the balloon to the amount you want. Give a little bit of burp and find your tail. Now I'm just going to tie these two together once, and that one knot is going to tie it all. Tie the air inside the balloon and connect them. So what I do is I hold the tail, this is the nozzle, I kind of wrap it over a little bit, I send the tail over the nozzle through the center of the balloon, like so, and it kind of locked it. This is our first loop. Without letting go of anything, I'm going to wrap the nozzle up so that it's made kind of a cross. I'm going to push the tail down while my pointer grabs it and pulls it in like that tailor's knot. Oh, I let go. Like so. And then tie. If that's too confusing in this video and you want more resources to learn these knots, this is called a tailor's knot. That's what you do when you're sewing. Use that tailor's knot to thread a needle. We're doing that with a balloon. So again, I'll just do a double knot for you. I'm holding the tail and the nozzle like so, holding them kind of downward like this. I'm going to wrap the nozzle end. I mean, it doesn't have to be nozzle end, you can use it the side, but so you know what I'm doing. Wrap it around, and then, so this is on top, the one that's on bottom, I'm pushing over it, and I'm sliding my pointer out while I'm pushing my thumb down so that I catch the tail and it pulls it into the center. And then I pull them. That's how you tie a balloon end to end together. So that is how to inflate, how to tie a hard and soft knot, now tie a balloon end to end together. So that's your inflation and knots. There's also, for your hand pumps, this is a Qualtex hand pump. It's the most commonly used. I tie a 260 around it, nice and tight, and then I tie the other end to a belt loop. So that I'm working, I can use it, let go of it, twist, and it's always right here. Now, mouth inflating can be important for some tricks. We'll get into that later. But if you cannot mouth inflate, it's extremely difficult. You can get an electric pump. There is something called a Magiloon. So if you go to Magiloon.com, it's MAJILOON.com. They have the pump that I ever use if I'm using an electric pump. And it wears on your waist, it's got a hose on it, you just blow your balloon up. It's the exact same as mouth inflating without tiring yourself out. And sometimes if you don't have a really strong lung and diaphragm, you may not ever be able to mouth inflate. It's very difficult. So when in doubt, save yourself and just use a pump, hand pump or electric pump. That's inflation.